Hey everybody, this is Scott Hudspeth with Agent Mastermind. Welcome back from a awesome weekend. Hope you had a safe, exciting, and fun weekend. Today is one of my personal favorites, and I know I probably say that every week, but this one has been a life changer for me and many others because I force it on people, and you'll see why I say that at the end of this class. So let's get started, shall we? All right. So a little bit about myself. I'm, again, Scott Hudspeth, and I specialize in helping loan officers and real estate agents to work less, earn more, and be happier doing it in 60 days or less. And you'll understand by the end of this, that you can literally will know the secret to earning 158% more money and doing it in 3 hours and 15 minutes work per day, and I'll show you exactly how to make that happen. And I know many of you are on this class today because you are likely working a whole lot more than you want to. You're spending your days frustrated, chasing buyer leads, seller leads from all different types of lead sources that people are always trying to sell you on. Then there's, heaven forbid, social media. What CRM system? Do I need an assistant? What do I have my assistant do? And you're missing out on the time with your family and friends and the income that you so deserve. So I'm going to share with you a little secret, and it's really not a secret. It's a proven fact of how you can work 3 hours, and it's actually 3 hours and 12 minutes, that's a misprint, a day and achieve 158% growth in your business, okay? So let's do this. So we are going to talk about, first we're going to talk about the 3 traits that you need to have to help you be successful. The 5 steps to make 160% more working 3 hours and 12 minutes a day. I got it right there, so congratulations on that one. And then the 3 principles that will help you get what you deserve. And I tell you, and then how to get some extra training for free. So look at this. So to work less and make more, you need a great team, right? So here we all are. We all know it's to work less and make more money, but what that really boils down to is to having a really great real estate team, and I'm gonna show you how to map that out. But more important than that, it's a combination of learning or knowing what you are supposed to do, knowing what they're supposed to do, and then learning to let go. And yes, that sounds like a huge task. That is one of the biggest challenges that I see a lot of people having is I need to do everything, or I need to do this, or I need to do that. And they just physically can't let go. Or, I don't know, I won't jump ahead of myself, but some of the concerns that people have is, one, I'm a one-person real estate shop. I have to do it all. I don't have anybody to do that. I'm going to show you how to quickly get that off your plate. I'm the only one that can do certain things, which, man, I've proven this over and over again, and myself personally, along with a bunch of my partners and friends, letting go of the biggest things that you think are most important has been the biggest growth in their business when they let go of that stuff. So I'm going to show you some of that. No one can do it as good as me. I hear that all the time, like I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do that. Whatever it may be, we've shown that letting go of some of that stuff too, actually other people do it better. It's kind of funny how that works, isn't it? And then how I can work less, I'm already at my max. And just about everybody I talk to is at their max for the most part. And my question to everybody is, what is keeping you from getting to the next level? What is the next level? What is it that's, what's getting in your way? And one of the things I find out is when you get to a certain point, like say as a real estate agent, you get 2 or 3 or 4 deals you're working on, you kind of go into a freeze mode going, all right, I need to take care of these 3 or 4 deals, or because if they don't close, I don't get a paycheck. And I can't chance losing 1 or 2 or 3 of these deals because then I lose 25, 50, or 75% of my income that month or next month. So I have to babysit and I have to take care of these things, and I can't do the stuff that I need to do that got me to the 4 loans or 4 deals that I have going as a real estate agent today. So I'm going to show you how to break free of that and unfreeze yourself and have some clarity around it, and also just have an abundance mentality to get to where you know that you're doing the money-making activities while someone else is taking care of the back end of stuff that should be done, has to be done, and we'll go over that here in just a second. So there's 3 things to be successful. You have to have the desire to do it. You have to want this. This has to be in your blood. This has to be something that you wake up every morning and go, oh my God, I can't believe I get to do this every day. and you go to bed going, I can't believe I get to do this tomorrow, and again and again and again. Commit to defeat self-doubt. Like, we all have, and trust me, I'm the biggest culprit of this. I had a call with my partner Carl last night. I'm like, man, this isn't working the way I thought it should. And he's like, well, how many people have you talked to? And so it just goes back to, have you really put in the time? Have you really put in the numbers? Have you really done it for a long period of time, knowing that that is the money-making activity, and it's based around relationships, and it's actually working towards your goal or your finish line, if you will, 12 months out and 5 years out, whatever that may be. So commit to defeat self-doubt. Let go of that stuff, and know that what you do after you do this exercise is what you should be doing the rest of your career, okay? Be willing to push through your comfort zone. This is probably one of the hardest things. If you, and I see all the quotes about if you're always just outside your comfort zone, that's where you should be, or if you're pushing through your comfort zone, if you're always uncomfortable, that's where you should be, that's where people have the most success. It's true. This stuff isn't easy that I'm going to share with you. Letting go is not easy. Picking up the phone is not easy. Having that, oh my God, if they say no to me, or if they back out, or if something happens with the house, there's a lot of fears going on there. It's uncomfortable. So to put yourself in that situation, most people will back off from it and not go there. So be willing to push through that comfort zone and get out of your comfort zone and be uncomfortable until you get comfortable. It's amazing if you can push through being uncomfortable, how that once uncomfortable feeling now feels comfortable because you've been there, done that, and you know what to expect. You know how to overcome those challenges. So it's just a different way to think about things. Why listen to me? This is where I've been the last 3 years of my life, last 2.5 years actually. So my team, my partners, and I call them my friends, we closed 41,634,000 last month in June. 232 happy new homeowners or people that have refied. We went from 38 employees to over 200 and growing. Very healthy growth. We started this in January of 2013, and I've been helping others to make more, have more freedom, and higher coolness factor while working less than ever thought possible. So that, my friends, makes me feel good, and that's why I do what I do every single day of my life. I get up going, how can I help my partners, my friends have a better life, more freedom, and more coolness factor? When you surround yourself with like-minded people, it's amazing what happens, and that's what's the result of what's happening. So that's where I'm at. So what I'm telling you is real. I live, eat, and breathe what I'm about to show you, this little exercise that I'm going to put you through. And I would love to see some results of what people come up with at the end of the exercise. And take some time with it. Be patient with it. Make sure and take notes the exercise that I'm going to give you, and spend some serious time on it, because it's truly a life changer. So let me just go to the next slide here. All right, so step one, know the law. And I think everybody knows Pareto's law. 80% effect come from 20% of causes. So let's just go take that a little deeper. 80% of the wealth comes from 20% of the population. You can literally use this equation for anything. 80% of your income comes from 20% of your efforts. Think about that. So 80% of the stuff you're doing equates to 20% of your efforts, okay? So what if you flip that? 80% of your headaches come from 20% of your clients and referral sources, right? 20% of what you do is responsible for 80% of your income. Think about that. So and think about this. There's a book that's it's called 80-20, and I can look up the name and stuff, but there's a 20% inside the 20% that equates to 80% of that income. Think about that and go deep with this. And as we do this exercise, I think you're going to get a good, comfortable feeling of what I'm talking about here. So 20% of your efforts equates to 80% of your income. So if you stop doing the 80% that isn't doing you really anything, and you lose the 20%, and I'm going to do an exercise here in just a second, and it'll make sense. All right? So one very important lesson that I want to stress when you're doing this, okay? And this is very, very important. This has been very, very valuable to me when you go to do something. So as you, and I would highly recommend writing this out, putting it next to your computer, putting it on your phone, putting it in your wallet, so every time you do something, you see this and you start to live, eat, and breathe it. So if you say yes to whatever, if you say yes to spending time on Facebook, what are you saying no to? If you say yes to building a blog, what are you saying no to? If you say yes to being on Instagram, if you say yes to building a website, if you say yes to whatever, what are you saying no to? In And whatever you say yes to, is it money-making activity that's going to benefit you and your family? Is it going to provide you freedom? Is it going to up your coolness factor? Very, very important to think about that. So write that down. Think about it every time you do something, okay? Step 2, apply the law. 90% of people drop the ball here. Leads to sabotage, procrastination, and no focus. Here's a little exercise that I love doing, and I'm so glad that I was able to witness this many, many, many years ago. And it's called the triad of awesomeness, okay? So what we do here, and I'm going to grab a little pen. So what we do is we grab this little pen, and we write in 3 circles, okay? So there's 3 circles here, and they all combine, and this little red is where we call the triad of awesomeness. So what is it that I love doing? And I'm just going to write a little heart here the best I can. So what do I love doing? What makes me money? And you got to take some time. This is just one of the small exercises. This is really important, and this is a great exercise to do. And as you grow, you need to redo this because it changes. So what do I love? What makes me money? And what am I good at? What am I good at doing? Like, for example, I love golfing. I'm not good at it. And it's never going to make me any money unless I, of course, beat somebody at a hole or something. It's not going to make me any money. So, but I love doing it. So it doesn't fit in all 3. I love being a dad. Love doing it. I think I'm really good at it. But of course, that doesn't make me any money. But of course, you got to do some stuff. Like you have to be a good dad. You have to be a parent. Whatever. So I love building relationships. I'm good at it, and guess what? It actually makes me money. And a lot of real estate agents and loan officers, when you ask them, what are you good at? Like, man, I'm really good at like getting to know people. I'm really good at finding out what they, what's going to help them. I'm really good at like helping people. And as a real estate agent, when you go help somebody with a home, you're changing their life. You're providing something that's going to create a ton of memories, and you're probably really good at it. And if you do it good and you love it, it's probably going to make you money. So that's the kind of exercise that I like doing. And as you do more and more of it, you might get to where, man, I love building relationships with other agents as a broker owner, and I'm really good at helping real estate agents to grow their business. And you know what? If they're successful, I'm successful, so that makes me money. So that's my triad of awesomeness. And if you do this exercise and figure out, and you make a list of what you love doing, what makes you money, and what you're good at, and you'll come to a couple things that you go, man, if I just do that, my life is it's like living at Disney every single day of my life, okay? One cool exercise there. So step 3, disregard this law. But I love Brian Tracy, hate this law. So we all have our frogs. We all have those stupid things important tasks that we put off for whatever reason. The key to success is to eat your frogs quickly. This is what Brian Tracy says. The guy is one of the biggest time management guys that I've known. He writes like 4 books a year, and this is one of the books he wrote. It's an awesome book. It says 21 ways to stop procrastinating and get more done in less time. The gist of the whole story is do it first thing in the morning. When you get up, eat that frog. Whatever frog you hate, eat that frog. Well, Carl and I both disagree with this. We go, you know what? Why should we have to do something we don't like when other people like those frogs? Like, I don't like that frog, but somebody else really likes that frog. So why don't we just find people to eat our frogs that we don't like to eat morning, noon, and night, and we'll just do the stuff we love and not eat that frog. So that's one of the things we disagree with. Like, love it, love his stuff, love his books, but he said eat the frog. We disagree with that. Find somebody that if you don't like doing something, it's just a matter of time before you burn out, or you just never do it. Like I talked to one of my good friends, and she's an agent that I've been helping out, and I said, okay, you got a database of I think it was 700. I said, okay, what do you do with them on a monthly basis or weekly, yearly basis, or whatever? She goes, well, I send them something, once a year. I'm like, okay. I'm like, where does your last 4 deals come from? I'm 100% relationships. Like, people just give me referrals to past clients, mostly 99% past clients. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be easy. So you're telling me that your last 4 deals came from friends or past clients, which turns into friends. This is going to be easy. I just need to get you more friends. What if I just helped you stay in front of your past clients? If you're not going to do it, if you're not going to connect, engage, and interact and go deep with your past clients, because every one person knows on Facebook 220-something people, but realistically 25 people that they could literally call up the phone and go, hey, use this real estate agent to buy your next home, or if you need to refinance, use this lender or whatever. What if you just connected, engaged, and interacted and involved yourself in their lives every single month? Well, you're not doing it, so let's find somebody to do it for you, knowing that you haven't done it, you're not going to do it. So what if somebody, that's their only job was to send an email a week, to send a letter a month, to call for you every 3 months saying, hey, Carla wanted me to give you a call and just check in. She said you guys were so awesome to work with, and I just wanted to check in. What would that look like in just a very short period of time? It'd be crazy, right? Because that's all they have to do, and that's all they're doing. It gets done. And is it good enough? Well, it's better than what the outcome was before. You're still getting referrals, but would you get even more referrals if you implemented that one strategy? So that's what I'm saying. If you're not doing it, find someone else to do it, all right? So we don't eat frogs anymore, and I don't suggest it either. Now, maybe at first you might have to do a couple things you don't like until you find that person to do it, but start taking notes of what you don't like to do, and I'm going to show you how to do that here in a minute. I'm going to show you how to come up with a very detailed description of what that person, like everybody says, Scott, what is my assistant supposed to do? I'm like, I'm going to show you how to make that list of exactly what they're supposed to do, okay? So I found this, it's kind of funny, 5 years to freedom. So they say this card may be kept until needed or sold. Get out of job jail free. So if you work really hard for the next 5 years, guess what happens? You get to get out of jail free, right? Wrong. Are most people working after 5 years? Absolutely, okay? So so I promised you that I would show you how you exactly to make 60% more income in 60% less time. So let me show you how to do that. So step 4, how to get 158% of the results. Check this out. Here's my little, do I still got my pen? Let me just grab my pen right there. All right, so let's just draw a couple lines in here the best I can. And let's just say that this part right here equates to the 20% that is making you 80% of your money, okay? And this part right in here is the 80%, okay? So that's the 80%, and this is, oops, that's a terrible 0. I'm trying to make an 8 here. So that's the 80%. You guys get the idea here. This is the 80%. So I need to find out what is the sliver of time in my day, and it equates to an hour and 36 minutes, I believe it is. Let me just see what that is. So an hour and 36 minutes of that. So that little sliver in here equates to the 20%. So what if I only did that 20%? Well, what is the 20%? We're going to figure that out in just a second, okay? So if I did that for 100 for part of my day, an hour and 36 minutes or an hour and 38 minutes, whatever it is, and I went home, I would only lose 20% of my income, right? Well, what if I did this 20% again over here? What if I did whatever I did to make this money, 20% of my income, like 20% of my efforts is equaling 80% of my income. So what if I come over here and do 20% of my efforts, do the same exact thing again? I've just doubled. So now I have 80 and 80, 158%, 160%. I've just doubled my time, and I've only spent 3 hours and 12 minutes to do it. Does that make sense? And I'm going to show you what I mean by this. Guys, this is 100% true. And here's the scarier part with that. Once you do this, and you do it consistently, and you follow this, and you live by it, and you eat and live and breathe by this, there's a 20% inside the 20% that equates to 80% of the 20%. Does that even, like, that's so deep that it's scary, right? So there's 20% inside the 20% of the 80% that equates to that income. So if you can figure that out, which is kind of where we're at right now, like what is that 20% inside the 20? Or let's just start with here. What's the 20% that equates, 20% of my efforts equates to 80? That's where the power is. So let's go to the next thing. So what's our lesson? Are we doing something that we hate doing? Are we doing work that a clerk or an assistant could be doing? And nothing wrong with it. It's just what they do, right? Are we inventing tasks so that we can trick ourselves into thinking that we are being productive? That's very easy to do, and I've caught a lot of people doing it. Doesn't need to be done. It's called creative avoidance. Man, you know, when we talk about implementing something, say implementing a Facebook page or implementing a Facebook strategy, You know, people go, well, I got to build a Facebook page, and then I got to get a logo, and then I got to do this, I got to do that. Like, and they're always avoiding the actual implementation of the actual thing that's going to get them to the deal. That's what we don't want to do. So don't invent stuff. Just do it. Putting it into action. So write down a list of items that you do every day. Now, I found a list of items that it just blew me away. It's 184 things that you do as a real estate agent that has to be done almost with every transaction. It's going to blow you away. Check this out. So I found this. So here's just a couple things, and get this. This is just for the pre-listing activities. Isn't this crazy? So make appointments. Now, as we go, I'm not going to go one by one on this, but I found this, and I'm going to give you the link to the 184 things, but check this out. Make an appointment with seller for listing presentation. Send a written or email confirmation of appointment and call to confirm. Review appointment questions. Research all comparable current listed properties. Research sale activity for the past 18 months from MLS and public database. So as you go through this list, you go, we do a little exercise where we go, all right, let's do an exercise. So do, like, you put yourself here, and you put your assistant over here. Okay, make an appointment with seller presentation. Don't have to do it. Send a handwritten or email. Don't have to do it. So this is you. This is you. And this is your assistant. So to make a list, this is how you do things. So review appointment questions. I don't have to do that. Research all comparable currently listed properties. I think somebody can do that for me. Research sale activity for past 18 months from MLS records. Don't have to do that. Research average days on market for properties. I mean, look at all this stuff that I, as a real estate agent, really, somebody else could be doing for me if trained properly and they knew what they were doing. Download and review property tax roll information. Easy. Let's see. Prepare comparable market analysis. Easy, if trained. Obtain copy of submission plat complex layout. Perfect. I mean, like, this whole list, I went through it before we got on this class. I don't know if there's anything that you, as a real estate agent, personally has to do. Now, there might be something legally you have to do. Verify legal description, research property, research. So verify legal names of owners in county's public records, prepare listing presentation package. Nope. Perform exterior curb appeal assessment, compile and assemble formal file property. So in my eyes, I don't see anything on this list that you, as the high-paid, money-making activity salesperson, has to do. Let's go to the next one. So, and I'll show you the link here. Listing appointment presentation. Now, should this be you? Give seller an overview of current market conditions and projections. Yeah, that probably should be you. Review agent and company credentials and accomplishments. Absolutely. Present company's profile and position. Present CMA results. Offer professional price strategy based on interpretation of current market condition. This should probably all be you. This is the listing appointment. This is the relationship part of the business. That is the money-making activity. This is you building a lifelong relationship with a new listing, with a new seller that you could continue to market to their friends, family, and coworkers weekly, monthly, and quarterly. Where I guarantee you, we're seeing 1 to 3 referrals out of every 100 people in our database per month, just by connecting, engaging, and interacting with our past database, okay? It's low-hanging fruit. We had a class, I think it was last week or the week before, we did a class on farming your database or marketing to your database. If you want a copy of that, just get with the loan professional that sent you to this class, and we'll make sure you get a copy of that, all right? All right, and then I went a little farther. I said, so no wonder you guys are busy. So 184 things. So if you go to http bit.ly/184 task, I'll just kind of go there with you right now and show you. It's a pretty cool list. So I think I got it up right here. Let me just do this really quick. So here's the list. Pre-listing activities, listing appointment presentation, which I showed you. After listing agreement is signed, look at this. There's 34 to 77 things, 50 things there. Enter property into MLS database, marketing the listing, the offer and the contract, tracking the loan process, home inspection, the appraisal, closing preparation and duties. You guys are busy, right? No wonder, like, you get 2, 3, 4 deals going. Heaven forbid you got 5 or 6. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on, and you can't have a life. That's why agents closing a lot of business need help, and it's scary to think if you had somebody that did this stuff for you and you just showed up to a listing presentation, you just did the stuff that you, as high money-making activities should be doing, it'd be scary where your business would be in a very short period of time. All right? So here's the exercise. So make the list. Hire an assistant. You can make a significant living doing the work at $10 to $15 an hour. You didn't come this far to play it safe, all right? And you can't afford one now because you are the assistant. If you do this little exercise with me, I'm going to go back to a little space here. So take what you made, so your income you made last year, and divide that by 2,080. And I've done this before, and it's so powerful. And I would put it on your, sorry for my writing skills, I'm doing it with my mouse, by 2,080. And that, my friends, equals your hourly wage, whatever that is. So you ask yourself, you made 200,000 divided by 2,080. Scary to think what this would be. 200,000 divided by 2,080 is $96 an hour. So I ask yourself, would I pay someone $96 an hour to do, let's just go back, to make an appointment with a seller or listing presentation? I hope not. How about pay someone $96 an hour to send a written or email confirmation of appointments or pick up the phone and call? How about $96 an hour to review appointment questions, research all comparable current listing properties, research sale activity for past 18 months? Would you pay someone $96 to do all this stuff? Well, if you say, heck no, then why are you doing it, right? That's freedom. When you let go of this stuff, hire someone else to do it for you, and while you're doing the money-making activities, the listing presentation, the events, engaging with your past clients, calling your past clients. So when should you get an assistant? So here's what you need to do, and I think it's coming up here. When should you get an assistant? At a certain units per month. When I'm too busy. Be productive, not busy. So you got to really break this down. So think about this. When should you get an assistant? So you think these guys should hire their coach now after they won the World Cup? Congratulations to the women's soccer. So awesome. That's so incredible. Or how about Dale? Dale Earnhardt Jr. Think, hey, Dale, I tell you what, we'll buy that fast motor as soon as you win Talladega, as soon as you win the Indy 500. As soon as you win it, man, we got your back. We'll buy that motor. That's not how that works. That is not how that works, my friends. Just hire that coach, buy that motor, find that assistant to do those low money-making activities so you can do the high money-making activities. So good assistants are free. They bring you the money. They shouldn't cost you money. If an assistant is costing you money, then they're not doing the low money-making activities, or you aren't doing the high money-making activities while they're doing the low money-making activities. Make sense? All right. So what does your assistant do? Real easy. Make an appointment with the seller for a listing presentation. I kind of took the exact same slide and put them in here. Send a written email confirmation, review appointments. I mean, I just kept going down the list. Like these things, check this out. They do all this stuff, right? What do? Marketing planning. You're not doing it, you're planning it, right? Calling your leads, presentations, masterminding with other like-minded people, mapping and planning your success. Only the things you want to do, that is building relationships, going deep with relationships, asking for business, and that's it. Going home and enjoying life. It's hard to let go. I'm telling you, it's so hard. We grew up in a society where we think we got to work sun up to sundown, half days, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., or it's just not legit. It's just not right for us not to do that and be successful, right? Well, wrong. It's not. It's not that way. So, but I'm a control freak, right? The one-man band, everybody's seen one. You play every instrument under the sun. Kind of look goofy, don't they? What instrument does this guy play? Who has the parking spot right up against the building with their name on it? Does this guy even play any instruments? And then I was talking to a friend of mine. I was like, well, how about the guy that hired this guy? Who's that? So he hired this guy. This guy put the band together. Like, holy, this is the Boston Pops. So, like, holy crap, who's that guy, right? It just keeps going farther and farther and farther. So if you look at yourself in the mirror and go, man, I'm doing all this stuff, and no wonder I can only get to 1 or 2 or 1 every other month or whatever, think about that. Think about if you did the money-making activities, and I'm going to show you a little exercise here in just a second. So let's go back to this right here. So what you do is you make a list of all the stuff you do all day, every day. And I gave you the list, 184 things. And you go, all right, and you go mark it, and you put yourself here in a little circle. And so to find out what a detailed description of your assistant, so this is you. I'm just going to put a U in there. And then this is them, your assistant, A for assistant. And you go, all right, and you start drawing lines to who does what, right? And when you get to a point where you have a couple lines going to yourself, and I'm just like, I'm going to have to go to the next slide to do this, or go backwards actually, that's when you have your list of what you should be doing and what they should be doing. And then you put an ad out there going, hey, I need someone 4 hours a day. Think about if you just hired someone 4 hours a day, 4 hours a week, just 4 hours to do this stuff. And you need them more than 4 hours. But you use that 4 hours to do the money-making activities that you see yourself, and after you make this list, calling past clients, calling leads, building relationships with leads. Because if you're on the phone with a lead or at a listing presentation or driving around with a buyer, something's not getting done with the other people that are in process or the other people you've talked to, or like heaven forbid, like somebody calls you to like look at a house or a listing, or somebody's got to be there to answer those phone calls. So there's ways to put people in place. There's phone services that answer your business 24 hours a day. There's people in the Philippines that for $3 an hour will check your email, do your social media for you, send emails for you, call your clients to confirm appointments for you. I mean, there's ways to make stuff happen. You just need to put a plan in place and go, okay, what is the best use of my time, more importantly, and what do I love doing? Absolutely, positively, if I get up in the morning and, man, if I got to pinch myself, I love doing this stuff so much, that's what you should be doing. And some people go, you know what, I hate calling people. I cannot physically do it. Hire someone to do that part. Will it get done as good? You never know. It might get done even better because you're not doing it. So what would it look like if somebody was doing it that was bubbly on the phone, use your name when they call? They always use your name, and they go, hey, Carla wanted me to give you a call. Hey, Steve wanted me to give you a call to check in, see how you guys are doing. I had a little sticky note here that says that you guys were so awesome to work with, and, man, Steve just said check in with those guys and see how it's going. So I thought I'd give you a call and say, hey, how's the new home? And, oh, by the way, who of your friends, family, or coworkers can we help out to get into a new home or to sell their home? That's it. It's just getting out there, building a relationship, and asking for the business, right? And watch the Farming Your Database if you want some ideas on what to say or how to connect or engage and interact with your past database. All right? All right, guys. So I'm just going to go to do a little recap here, and we'll get through this. Sorry about that. And then we'll answer some questions and take. So get that. All right, so let's back up. So recap, desire. You have to have desire. You have to love this business. You have to love helping people, more importantly. I find myself, I read the book 7 Steps to Living Your Best Life Now with Joel Osteen, and it goes back to the Zig Ziglar thing. Help enough other people get what they want, and it will come to you threefold. And it's been amazing to, when I go into getting to know somebody, it's not for my benefit. It's how can I help this person without any expectation in return. And guys, I'm telling you, it's so amazing what comes back. Listen to them, find out their pain, give them a solution if they want one, or sometimes just listen and they just need to vent. But if you can help them with a solution, with whatever their pain is, maybe it's like, man, I can't, what do I do with Facebook? Delete your account. What do I do with my email? I don't know. Put times in your calendar that you only go to your, get out of the habit. It's just a habit that we click refresh on our phones, or we, have to go on there and check Facebook status, and then we get caught up in videos, and my kids post them awesome stuff, and I want to be involved. Pick times to do that. Pick from whatever time. Like first thing in the morning, you got to get the money-making activities out of the way, because if not, they're just not going to get done, because something is going to happen, and we're so reactive to our business instead of proactive. And I always ask that question, who scores more points, the offense or the defense? It's always the offense. You have to be proactive. You have to work off your calendar. You have to have time management. You have to have in your calendar the stuff that's going to help you do the money-making activities. Otherwise, it's just never going to get done. If there's something that needs to be done as a money-making activity, then hire that out if you physically can't do it. All right? Overcome self-doubt. Stop saying I can't do it and start saying I can do this and I will do this, and not if it happens, when it happens. Start changing your vocabulary. It's amazing just what a little self-talk will do for you. I always correct people, yeah, if I ever get there, no, like when you get there, this is what's going to happen, and this is how cool it's going to be, and this is how awesome it's going to be. Push through your comfort zones. I can't stress that enough, man. It's not easy. You might have to stand up on the stirrups and ride up that hill every once in a while and go, man, this is just tough. They did this study, and I've done a lot of research on this. Like the human body goes through discomforts, and you feel like you're going to get sick, and all this stuff happens to you where it's almost like somebody's pulling you back down, going, no, Scotty, get back in that box. This isn't for you. You're not good enough for this. You shouldn't be doing this. And you got to bust through that and go, this is the right thing for my family. This is the right thing for my business. Pareto's Law, live, eat, and breathe that stuff. 20% of everything is, 20-80, 80-20. I was out fishing one time, and the fisherman said 10% of the 90% of the fish are in 10% of the water. I'm like, holy crap, man! 90% of the fish are in 10% of the water. 20% of the 80% of the people use 20% of the roads. I mean, it's like 80-20 everything. 20% of your headaches are 80% of your headaches are 20% of your clients. Always. Apply the law. Disregard the law of the frog. Don't eat the frogs. Find somebody that loves to eat those frogs. Find out what your 3 things are. So the exercise is make a list of everything you do all day, every day. Pick one thing. One thing that if you don't do it, you're going to be out of business in 90 days. And those 3 things are like 1, 1, and 1, not 1, 2, and 3, but pick one thing. Pick one more thing that if you don't do it, you're going to be out of business in 90 days, and one more thing. So you pick 3 things that if you don't do these 3 things, and there's no right or wrong to the 3 things. Everybody's a little bit different. Your 3 things is not going to be the same as my 3 things. Do those 3 things for the next 90 days and see what happens, and drop everything else. And it's crazy what happens. Stuff either gets done or it doesn't. Some has to be done, some doesn't, but put people in place to do that stuff that isn't money-making activity while you're doing the 3 things that you know are going to get you to your goals, dreams, and desires, all right? Getting help, hire an assistant. If you say yes to blank, what are you saying no to? You have to write this down, and you have to do that exercise. Every time you go to, for example, I've seen it on the Today Show today. Like they said, the average person gets interrupted every 3 minutes, okay? Get this. And it takes them 28 or 23 minutes to get back into the mode that they were in before they got interrupted. Think about that. You never have a chance to stay in the zone. Every 3 minutes, they say the average person gets interrupted by phone, by email, by Facebook, by somebody. Turn that stuff off. When you're doing the money-making activities, you owe it to your family, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your business. Turn that stuff off. No interruptions. If you have to go to a place where there's no people, then go to a place where there's no people, all right? If you say yes to blank, what are you saying no to? If you say yes to going on Facebook, you're saying no to building a deeper relationship with somebody. If you say yes to your email every single minute, what are you saying no to? You're saying no to picking up that phone, okay? All right, so more success principles. So models that work. Here's a big one. Find someone that's successful and go interview them. I interview people all the time going, hey, what's working for you? Like I find people that are doing really well, and man, they will tell you everything because they don't have a scarcity mentality. They have an abundance mentality. Like, hey, here's what I do on a daily basis. Here's what I've done. Here's the mistakes that I've made. Don't do that. And find a model that's working for somebody. Find somebody that's closing 10 transactions a month and go, how are you doing that? What are you doing? What does your team look like? Find out what that looks like and go, okay, can I plug into that team, or can I build that team myself over a period of time? What does that look like? And I'm telling you, these people, everybody tells me exactly what they're doing because I always give back. I'm like, here's what we're doing. Here's what we did to get to 41 million. Here's how we do this much per month. Here's our process. Here's our systems. This is how we did it. These are the mistakes we made. This is what not to do. They'll tell you that stuff. And I shared some of my success today and some of the systems that we have in place. And he's like, what can I do for you? And I'm like, man, I'm good. Just keep going, Show me that you're going to take this and use it to your benefit and do the money-making activities and put people in place to help more people. That's what this is all about. Take the simplest path. We talk about this all the time. So you can go from A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E, or you can go, well, man, how do I just go from A to Z? How do I skip all those in between steps and go, is there a way that I can go from A to Z and skip all the steps in between? Can I go from no lead to a lead that's in process? Like, how do I do that from Trulia, from Zillow, from, like, what's the, like a lot of people go, well, let's do a landing page, and let's do this, and let's do that, and let's do this, and then we'll call the lead. And then, like, so, like, how do you figure, and I don't know the right answer. It's specific to each situation, but figure a way to go the simplest path from where you are to where you want to get to with every part of your business. Commit to learn. We watch podcasts. I'm always on webinars. I'm always reading. Studying the psychology of different people, why people are more successful, why people are not successful, what do successful people do, how do they live, how do they eat, how do they breathe, what is it that they're doing that, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. How can some people do so much in the same 24-hour period and other people just can't do anything? That's a real deal, right? So I'm like, okay, how can I help this person that can't do as much as this person? What are they doing different? Take that, share that success story. Hey, what are you doing? Like in one of the exercises, I say, hey, I'm working nights and weekends. I'm like, okay, so how many hours you work a week? I'm working 60 hours a week. Okay, 60 hours a week, and I'm guessing you're working Saturdays too, or maybe you take Sundays off or whatever. So 6 days a week, that's 10 hours a day. Here's what I want you to do. And man, I would, honest to God, do this to yourself. Put a stopwatch around your neck. There's two exercises. One, find an accountability partner. Say, I'm going to call you every morning, and we're going to talk for 5 minutes, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do today. I'm going to tell you the one thing I'm going to do to get me closer to my goal. I'm going to tell you the 10 people that I'm going to talk to. I'm going to tell you the 3 people I'm going to meet with, and you need to hold me accountable. 2, I'm going to wear a stopwatch around my neck, and when I do money-making activities, I'm going to click go. When I'm done doing the money-making activities, I'm going to click stop. Done, right? Huge exercise. The other exercise you need to do is with your accountability partner, every 3 hours, and this could be a lender, call your lender that you work with and say, hey, every 3 hours, I'm going to email you what I did the last 3 hours so we can critique what that time was spent doing and what really doesn't need to be done and what you should have been doing to get you to your goals, dreams, and desires. Does that make sense? So if you work 10 hours a day, every 3 hours, email an accountability partner going, here's what I did the last 3 hours. I'm telling you, you will get to where you're doing money-making activities, because it's embarrassing going, I was on Facebook for an hour, and I was in my email for an hour, and I talked to a friend of mine from high school because we just went to a class reunion. Class reunion person, if they were local, may have been a money-making activity, but you didn't call any past database. You didn't connect, engage, and interact with anybody. There's nothing you did that's going to get you to another closing. And it's amazing what you would do if you did. So every 3 hours, email an accountability partner what you did, and do it for just 1 week. I'm not saying doing it forever. Do it for 1 week and kind of narrow that down and go, okay, here's what I'm going to do next week. After this week of doing this, I'm going to drop that. And if you're not having success closing deals or transactions, scratch everything and go, all right, go find someone that's successful and go, what are you doing? What do you do every day? What do you do every month? What do you, figure out what that plan is and interview 10 people with what they're doing and put a list of your own, like, okay, I like that, don't like that, I'll never do that, and then scratch that. I like that, I can do that, I can hire somebody to do that. I always go, okay, what can I learn? And then delegate. So one of the 4 words, and I'll leave everybody with this, is, and I'm going to just add one more slide to this so when I send it out, you guys have it. So it's called READ, REEAD. Then I'll take some questions. So READ, so READ is reduce. How do I reduce what I'm doing? How do I eliminate? The next one is automate. Automate it, and how do I delete it? So reduce, eliminate, automate, delegate, almost everything. So how do I reduce, eliminate, automate, or delegate everything that I do? If I can't start something and delegate it off, I'm not going to do it. If I can't delete, I got to be able to delete some stuff. You could probably go through your list and go, don't need to do that, don't need to do that, don't need to do that, don't need to do that. there's nothing there that's going to get me to my next lead or next referral or next relationship, delete it. So reduce, eliminate, automate, delegate. And then the other one is, if I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? So let's go if there's any questions here. Karen, I don't know if if there's anything that I need to answer. What was step 3? Step 2, step 3, disregard this law. So one of the laws is, you know, Brian Tracy says, eat that frog, get it out of your way. I just didn't have a number there, so probably was harder to see, so I just probably just changed that, step 3. All right, so there's step 3. All right, what is the call in phone number ID? Okay. All right, I guess delegate, yeah, or delegate, yes. You could, so delete or delegate. So delegate, and that's great. Yep, delegate is the word actually I was looking for. Reduce, eliminate, automate, or delegate. Sorry about that. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. So the 4 words are reduce, eliminate, automate, or delegate. So I got to be able to delegate stuff. Eliminate, I guess, is delete it. So sorry about that. Get going there and get excited. So that's it, my friends. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you being part of my life. I would love to see the exercise you guys do and find out what those 3 things are. If you have any questions, of course, go to our Agent Mastermind page where we spend, it's an amazing group coming up on 15,000. We only let agents in. It's facebook.com/groups/Agent Mastermind. And it's a closed group, and we have 14,733 there. Awesome, awesome group. A lot of interaction, activity. If you're not part of it, just go ahead and request to be joined, and we'll look at your profile. Make sure your profile says something that you're an agent, and we'll let you in, and it's a good place to be. So if you have any questions, don't be shy. Inside the group, there is it doesn't go to your friends, family, or coworkers, so you can ask anything you want. It stays only to the people in the group. So, all right. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the flip side, and hope you had a great 4th of July. Enjoy the rest of your summer, and we'll see you same time, same place next week right here on Agent Mastermind. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.